Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Go Wellness Practice Accelerator Challenge webinar. So just a few announcements for this week. We've got just session 2 coming up June 3rd and 4th in Salt Lake City. We will be doing it at a new venue this time around. Anyway, hey, Regan, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Sorry, I was just waiting. I couldn't get in. Okay, well, what we're going to talk about today is the question that's come up a few times is where our patients say, do peptides have science behind it to back it up? So I'm going to share with you a document that you will soon get. And Annie, I sent this to you earlier today. So you've got you're one of the first eyeballs on this, but this is literally going to go on our website. It's going to be a multiplier for everything that we do. Spent a ton of time on this over the weekend because I've got these high profile entrepreneurial clients who have, these concierge doctors that they're spending $100,000 a year to work with. And their doctors say, well, I love the peptides, but there's just not enough research. And so I kind of coughed and I said, well, let me put a document together real quick. And under my breath, I was like, this is easy. There's no competition. There's so much research. And so you guys, hopefully this will be helpful for you as, these things come up, but also as you have those patients who are a little more finicky and they really are like the fact finders. Well, this is a great way that you can start, you can utilize this. And so Annie's going to make this more of a Go Wellness branded, so you guys can use this in your practice and in your website as well. So first of all, if you think about, peptides, I kind of share our overall philosophy. We've used them because they don't have the toxic accumulation based on their short half-life. They're safe when you combine them with other pharmaceuticals and also with supplements. And then we just find that with peptides, they're very well tolerated for our patients who are the sickest of the sick. So Kate, I've been working with patients who have multiple chemical sensitivities, autoimmunity, 3 or 4 or more, and they react to everything I give them. Chinese herbs, supplements, it doesn't matter. They have a reaction. We get them on peptides and we don't see the reaction. And so what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is that multiplier or what?
It's an absolute multiplier. Yeah, I think being able to deliver some really powerful and potent treatments that really we have seen. I don't even know how many patients have been on peptides, how many times they've stuck themselves. If you calculate that over the course of 3 years, we've probably done, patients have self-administered over thousands, tens of thousands of peptides with virtually no serious counter interactions. It's really very powerful.
Yeah, very safe, very powerful. We found that peptides work best when you can remove the interferences. So this is where cell core comes in place. Peptides are used best as a stack. And so, this is where a lot of doctors go wrong, is they use one peptide and they use it for years and they just keep using it over and over and over again. And so in your programs, what we've done is design this 6-month process, and we're just opening up pathways. So where most doctors fail is they look at peptides the same way they look at some of these small molecule drugs, in where you want to use the peptide to treat a symptom or treat a disease. And what we believe is that healing is factory installed. And so all we're doing is turning on the genetic information that allows the body to fully express health in a simple way. And peptides are one of the best ways of doing this. The pharmaceutical companies and the medical system in large part, what they want to do is just force this symptom and disease management healthcare down our throats. And in doing so, they are very profitable because people stay on these medications their entire life. Peptides, beautiful thing they're doing is they're causing our bodies to express health, which saves your patients hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in the long run. And so if you think about the opportunity that exists, it's amazing because every month there's a new peptide coming out. Every month there's new case studies that we're finding in our clinic. All the time we're seeing hemoglobin A1C lower, we're seeing diabetes being reversed, we're seeing patients who've been in pain for a long time, now they're out of pain. And so it's a very interesting thing. And so this document that I'm going to share with you today, it creates context around why peptides are such a powerful part of our practice. And if you're not using them yet, hopefully this gives you a little motivation, because some of these studies that I'm going to go through are fascinating. And they're, many of these studies have gone through the 3 phases of FDA clinical trials. They've been proven to be safe, and then they were proved to be effective. And then they also were proven to be more effective than the current treatment. So, hey, Dan, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? I thought I'd show up and, rap about some peptides with you.
Nice. Well, I'm just sharing with everybody, when you have doctors, when you have patients who really want to do peptides, you're like, I just want to check with my doctor. And so it's like, cool, we want you to check with your doctor. But what does your doctor know about peptides? And usually nothing. And so lately, I've had a couple of doctors say, well, I think peptides might be good for you, but there's just not enough research. And so I kind of had to stop for a minute and say, well, why don't I just send your doctor some research? And I apologize because I'd never had this document created until now. And so now we can just say, well, cool, here's the evidence for you and your doctor to look at. And by the time you're done reading this, if your doctor says, no, there's not enough evidence, then your doctor is actually just being ignorant. He's being insecure and ignorant. That's it. And so we can't help him with that. He's isolated himself, and now he's in an island all on his own because he's not willing to look at data from a critical eye. So Dan, what do you think about that? Should we jump in and talk about some of these peptides and some of the science behind it?
Yeah, we just had a guy this morning, just chronic gut issues, and he's like, I want to talk to my GI doc, even though his GI doc didn't find any of the stuff we did. He's like, I want to talk to my doc about the BPC. So this is perfect.
You're like, good. And remind me how long you've been working with your GI doctor. And and how's your condition been? Oh, it's getting worse.
Getting much worse, but that's the guy I want to talk to.
Yeah, so I've had my patients on dialysis. It's funny because they'll say, I need to run this by my dialysis doctor. And then they'll come back around and they'll say, wait a second. He's never prescribed this. He doesn't know anything about it. I've been working with him for 10 years and things have just gotten progressively worse. I'm going to just go for it. It's like,
it won't ruin your kidneys. We can tell you that much.
Yeah, I had a dude, his GFR was at 8 and his wife made a big stink about it. Well, we need to run this by his doctor. And the dude was like, hey, I'm set up for dialysis in 2 weeks. No, you can't do more harm to my kidneys.
Yeah, right.
And guess what? He's not on dialysis. That was 6 months ago.
Yeah, I was saying this doctor, we have a new peptide for doctors like that. It's called the ID10T.
What?
What's that?
Type it out.
IV10T.
There you go.
Hopefully you're gonna put this.
Oh, I get it. Idiot.
Oh, gee. Dan. You.
Peptide.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if it's their idiocracy or, I see it's a lot of insecurity, a lot of ignorance, and then it's a lot of just plain old overwhelm. There's so much information for doctors to sort through. And so I want to create more of a collaborative environment in healthcare. I think it's one of the most important things we can do. And so we're going to dive in. So history of peptides. They've been around. Insulin was the first peptide sequenced, and that was over 100 years ago. I think it was 1911. It's got 51 amino acid chains. And that's pretty phenomenal. But really where peptides came into light even more so was in the 1960s. Soviet war, or the Soviet Union had military personnel, and these soldiers, they were preparing for this Cold War with the United States, and it was a tense time, and the nuclear reactors were leaking, and these sailors, they all ended up with cancer, and there's just massive casualties. And so Dr. Kavassian was brought in by the generals to use peptides. And what they found is that when he started injecting these peptides in 1973, that the soldiers that got the peptides didn't die from the cancer, even though they're exposed to the same radiation. And then when Chernobyl hit, sure enough, the people in the village around it who had peptides from Dr. Kavassian, they actually didn't die either. They didn't get the cancer. And so this was a big multiplier and a big breakthrough. But for obvious reasons, the United States has been skeptical of Russian research. And so we've been super slow to adopt this technology and these therapies. But over the course of time, and I don't think Putin's helping. I don't know what you guys think about that.
No. I mean, if Russia came out and was like, here, give this to all your soldiers. We trust us.
We've done the science.
Yeah, that might be a little sketchy.
Yeah, we're a little skeptical, but we started doing the research on our own and confirming it, about 25 years ago. And now we've got just massive growth in the peptide industry. At one stage, tailor-made compounding pharmacy had grown like 53,000% in 1 year because of peptides.
Wow.
And that was back in 2019, I believe. It was 18 or 19, and crazy. And so it's just on this rapid trajectory. There's now more than 100 of the 700 peptides that have been studied are approved by the FDA to treat specific conditions. And what the FDA says is peptides play a significant role in providing necessary medications for the public. So once again, and then I have the caution that peptides, 4 out of 5 peptides are sold on the black market. And a lot of these just aren't safe. You go to Peptide Sciences or you go to Can Labs, and yeah, they're less expensive, but we just don't know the safety profile. So, I want to differentiate ourselves and our group from the black market out there and say, yes, we only use 503A and 503B compounding pharmacies so that you're getting the right thing. So pretty important fact, right? I mean, I think a doctor would have every reason to be skeptical and concerned if you're using peptides from a source that's not regulated and that there's no safety in place. I think Peptide Sciences and Can Labs is doing a great job, and they have their GMP facilities, but at the same time, we just can't trust it. So peptides, and this gives, I won't go through that. You guys understand what peptides do. There's just multiple things. They're pleiotropic. So that means they produce more than one effect, and they have multiple phenotypic expressions on a pleiotropic gene. So, Kay, does that even make sense? Multiple phenotypic expressions on a pleiotropic gene.
It's a mouthful, that's for sure.
But yeah, if you think of a gene that has multiple responses where you start kicking out different communication patterns, because it's not like a cell, even though it's a liver cell, it's not like it's got one singular communication line, it's got multiple. So a liver cell would be a classic example of a pleiotropic gene. And so when you turn on that bad boy, you're going to get like 1,000 different communication patterns that get cleaned up. It's kind of like publishing, we have this webinar and then we put it as in a podcast form. And so we have, just a couple dozen people that get on our webinars, but when it goes to the podcast, there's like 1,000 people that listen to it. So that's like using a peptide. It goes viral, but we probably wouldn't want to use the word viral if you're explaining that to your patients. Hey everybody, Regan Archibald here. I hope you enjoyed the Go Wellness show and maybe learned a couple things you could apply to your practice. If you're a healthcare entrepreneur who wants to work in an academic think tank with like-minded humans who are just like you, looking to provide better service, better quality of care for your patients, reach us at info@gowellness.com and we're happy to do a free practice analysis for you.